Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What is up, REI Game Changers? Hope you guys are doing fantastic this afternoon. All right, today we are diving into a great topic. We're talking about my top three marketing channels that have produced the most deals for me in 2023. So, everybody knows that in order to have consistent deal flow, you got to have dialed in marketing systems. That's not something that's not a mystery. That's pretty common knowledge. If you want to do consistent deals, you need a predictable, consistent marketing system. Now, one of the most common questions that we get asked at REI Game Changers is which marketing channels are the best ones to use and which ones should I use? Which marketing channels are the most reliable ones to produce consistent deals in my wholesaling or my flipping business. So that is what I want to cover today. Now, what I'm going to be covering today are my top three marketing channels for my company in 2023. Now, it's important to note that, every market is a little bit different when it comes to which marketing channels are going to perform the best in that market. Also, your skill sets will affect how well a marketing channel will perform. So there are a number of variables that affect each marketing channel's performance. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share my top three channels and how they performed. I'm also going to break down the metrics for these three channels in my business. So I'm going to start with marketing channel number three. So marketing channel number three. So our third best performing marketing channel this year is SMS marketing. So SMS marketing has gotten a lot of flack this year in the real estate world. And one of the reasons why is because of all of the regulations that have happened with the SMS industry. Now, the regulations that have affected the SMS industry have not just been affecting the real estate world. So there are new 10DLC regulations that have come out that require you to register your LLC. They require you to register your website, and with that, it has posed some challenges in the SMS world, particularly for real estate investors. Now, because of that, we have made quite a few adjustments with how we approach SMS marketing. We have found the absolute best SMS marketing platform for real estate investors. And since we've made these adjustments, our SMS performance has still maintained a higher performance. So SMS is still our third highest performing marketing channel, and it's still one of the lowest cost per acquisition marketing channels that you can utilize, so long as you are using a platform that is compliant and that will protect you from getting your accounts shut down or banned. So the platform that we use for SMS marketing is Launch Control. I've tested probably a dozen different SMS platforms, and by far the highest performing SMS platform right now in today's market is Launch Control. So I actually have a way, if you are wanting to use our scripts for SMS marketing, we can actually get you those scripts. We have a Launch Control partnership where basically anybody who signs up using our affiliate link with Launch Control, we will be able to upload our scripts directly into your account. So if that is something that you would be interested in, if you're doing SMS marketing, if you would like to see or utilize our scripts, comment SMS in the chat and we will be able to send over our link so that you can utilize our scripts into your account. So that's something you're interested in, comment SMS in the chat below, and then we'll send over our links so that you can get access to our scripts. So with SMS marketing, right now in my company, we are about 17,000 text messages per contract. So that means that we have to send 17,000 texts in order to get one contract. Now, average right now across the board is the average across the board for most people is about 25,000 texts per contract. That number has gone up over the last couple of years because the competition level with the SMS marketing in the real estate industry has gone up. So 25,000 texts per contract with our company is our average is about 17,000. The industry average, from what I'm seeing with our clients around the country, is about 25,000 texts per contract. And if you're sending 25,000 texts to get a contract, you should have a really good ROI from that, meaning your ROI should be at least a 5x ROI, meaning you spend $10,000, you should get $50,000 back on texting. So text message marketing is our third highest performing marketing channel. The second highest performing marketing channel for my company is cold calling. Now, cold calling has been a pretty predictable, consistent marketing channel for a number of years. I mean, we've always done pretty well with cold calling. This year, it has moved into our number 2 spot. Last year, it was number 3 for us. This year, it has moved into number 2, and it's moved above texting. And I think just due to probably the texting regulations and sending a little bit lower volume on texting, we've done a little bit less deals from texting than we did have in the previous years. In previous years, texting was, at some points our top marketing channel in the last couple of years. But this year it's moved to number 3, and cold calling has moved up to number 2. Now, with cold calling, I recommend to outsource cold calling. If you are on a dialer, if you're the one who's doing the cold call dialing, then I guarantee you you will get a much better use of your time going with a different marketing channel. Because if you're cold calling yourself, if you are the one on the dialer, that is one of the lowest leverage activities that you can do. It's much better use of your time if you can do texting, if you're having to do it yourself, because you can cover more ground, you can get more people in the same number of hours that you're working. So with cold calling, I recommend to outsource that as early as you possibly can, because if you can have one cold caller or 2 cold callers or more dialing 8 hours per day, they can cover significantly more ground and hit significantly more leads than you can hit if you're the one on the dialer. So for my company, we have completely outsourced that. I have tested, again, probably like 10 different cold calling agencies, and I have found one that has been stellar for us. We've had incredible results with them, and it's a completely done for you managed cold calling service. And that service is called Platinum VAs. Platinum VAs, they are incredible. It's completely done for you, completely managed for you. All you do is send them a list and basically make sure that you get 10,000 records per full-time cold calling agent per month. So if you have 5 cold calling agents, you would send them over 50,000 new records per month, so that you have fresh data going to your cold calling agents each month. Now, for us in my company, we were about 50 cold call leads per contract. About 50 cold call leads per contract. Now, that is because we are pretty strong on lead management. We're really strong on acquisitions as well. But we are sitting right about 50 cold call leads per contract. So there are other companies, you may be at 75 leads per contract, sometimes even more. The stronger you are at lead management, the stronger you are at acquisitions, the higher your conversion ratio will be. So, the less cold call leads you will need in order to get one contract. And this is where, with any marketing channel that you are using, many times you may not have a marketing issue. You might actually have a sales issue. And that may be the reason why your marketing channel is not performing. Because with cold call leads, a lot of people have the assumption that they, that just naturally they're a little bit more cold than an inbound channel would be. So you have to work the leads more than you would a PPC lead, for instance. So just because they may not be as warm doesn't mean that they're bad leads. And I see this as a big stumbling block for people that are utilizing cold calling as one of their marketing channels. Is they just they assume that the leads are bad. They prejudge the leads. They label the leads as cold, or hey, these leads are not motivated to sell. And really, you just have to warm the leads up more. So the cash conversion cycle for a cold call lead is usually like 3 to 4 months, meaning like from the time that the cold call lead enters your marketing system to the time that it actually closes, it could be 3 to 4 months. So it just takes a little bit longer to work those leads. You have to put a little bit more intention into working the leads than with some of the other marketing channels, because the person was just outbounded out of the blue, and it takes them a little while to warm up to your company. So cold calling is our second highest performing marketing channel. And our top performing marketing channel in 2023 is direct mail. Direct mail. So direct mail has been, if I looked at my whole career in real estate investing, in wholesaling, real estate investing, I think direct mail is probably my top marketing channel that I've used out of all the marketing channels that I've used in the last 5-6 years. So out of all the marketing channels that I've used, direct mail has consistently been one of the top performing marketing channels. Now, if I were to look at the most number of deals that I've done from a marketing channel, collectively, it's been direct mail. Now, there were a couple of years, the last 2 years, where direct mail was not performing well for us. This year, however, direct mail has moved back into the number one performing marketing channel, meaning we've done more deals from direct mail than we have any other marketing channel this year. Now, with direct mail, I just want to share a couple of tips, a couple of strategy pieces of advice that have helped me, basically have a high performing direct mail campaign. So with direct mail, it's very, very important. The first thing that you have to have in place if you are going to perform well with direct mail, it is your list. You have to target a niche list. There has to be some type of distress in the list that you are targeting with your direct mail campaigns. So meaning, like with cold calling and texting, we can hit a more broad list because it's not as expensive of a marketing channel. So with cold calling and texting, we may be able to hit an equity list where we just target absentee owners that have 30% or more equity plus unknown equity. Well, with direct mail, we can't do that. We have to have some kind of distress associated with that property or the owner's situation. If we're going to use direct mail, because it is such a more expensive channel, it's such an expensive channel, especially now because mail costs have gone up. It requires you to target a more targeted list, meaning the people that you're getting in front of, they've got to have distress. So for us, what we do is we pull only distressed lists for direct mail. Now, a couple of ways that you can do this. If you're using a service like PropStream, for instance, you can, if you're in a larger market, you can start with a stacked niche list, meaning you pull a list that has multiple distress points. So if you have several distress lists like tax default, code violations, liens, bankruptcy, divorce, vacant houses, tired landlords, senior owners, probate, inherited properties, that's 10 lists right there that I just listed off. Like if you pull all of those lists and then you stack it to where if the person is on 2 or more lists, they would go onto the stacked niche list. If you hit this type of a list, you have a way higher chance of ensuring that that person is distressed, meaning you're not wasting your marketing dollars with this really expensive direct mail piece that you're going to be sending this list. So the more expensive the marketing campaign, the more targeted we have to be with the list that we are hitting. So with the stacked niche list, that is an extremely powerful list to use for direct mail. It's a good list to hit anyway, because you know those people should have distress, but with direct mail, it's imperative that you have it. So that's where I would start. Now, some of you guys may be in a smaller market and your stacked niche list may not be very big. You may only have like 1,000 people, 2,000 people on that stacked niche list. Well, if that's the case, then what you can do is expand to single source niche lists. So you just combine all of your niche lists into one list. And my goal with direct mail is I want to make sure that if I'm doing a direct mail campaign, that I'm at least going to get 1 to 2 contracts from each direct mail campaign that I do. So if I'm doing a direct mail campaign, I want to make sure that I'm at least getting a deal or two in that month. Then I'm going to be doing the direct mail. So with that being said, I know that based off of our numbers with direct mail, it typically is depending on the mail piece, at least 5,000 mail pieces sent to get one contract. So I need to send at least 5,000 direct mail pieces to get one contract from direct mail. My preference is if I'm doing a direct mail campaign, I never do less than 10,000 mail pieces in a month. So I never do less than 10,000 mail pieces in a month. The reason why is because I want to make sure that even if the mail piece doesn't perform as high as some of the other mail pieces, I want to make sure that I at least get one contract from that direct mail round each month. So I've tested this, guys. Like it is in direct mail, your market is really going to affect your direct mail performance. Each market is not created equal, especially with direct mail. So especially if you were in a hyper competitive market, you've got to be even more intentional with the list that you're using and the mail piece that you are using for your direct mail campaigns. So as far as the mail pieces go, so once we have our list in place, we're targeting a distressed list. We're going after niche lists with our direct mail campaigns. The next thing is our mail piece. So typically you can use either letters or you can use postcards. If you use postcards, each mail piece is going to be cheaper. It's going to be a cheaper cost per mail piece that you send out. Now, your response rate is going to determine which type of mail piece you are going to need to use. Now, you won't know what your response rate is until you actually do your first direct mail campaign. So if you're starting off, yes, this is for seller leads. Somebody just asked in the chat, is this for seller leads? Yeah, this is all for seller leads. All this marketing that I'm talking about is for seller leads. So if you are starting off, I recommend to try your first round with postcards because postcards are going to be less expensive. It's pretty significantly less expensive than a letter will be. So with, I use Yellow Letter HQ for almost all of my direct mail. And with Yellow Letter HQ, if you're sending 10,000 postcards, it's about 48 cents per postcard. So that's about $4,800 for 10,000 postcards. Now, if you're doing that many, it should be a sufficient volume to get one contract. Now, when you send the first mail campaign, you want to pay attention to your response rate. So this is how many mail pieces did you send versus how many calls you actually received. Now, when we're looking at response rate, we look at all the phone calls that we receive from that campaign. So you're going to get a lot of phone calls that are people saying, hey, I don't want you to mail me again. Hey, take me off your list. You guys keep mailing me. And that's totally fine. We count those in the response rate because that was a response. Now, an average response rate on direct mail is a 0.5% response rate. So that means if you send 5,000 mail pieces, you should receive 25 phone calls from that campaign. Out of 25 phone calls, I expect our team to book at least 5 appointments. Now, if you were looking at an average, our team typically converts 30 to 40% of the appointments that we attend into contracts. Industry average is about 20%. So if you're at 1 out of 5 appointments you convert into a contract, that would be 5,000 mail pieces sent to get one contract. If you sent 10,000, you should be able to get 2, ideally. Now, you want to pay attention to the response rate, because in some markets, you may be as low as a 0.25% response rate. So if you are on your first mail campaign, if you have a 0.25% response rate, then you are going to probably better be served doing a letter campaign as opposed to a postcard campaign. Because with letters, it's very rare that you get a 0.25% response rate if you're doing a letter campaign, because letters typically have a higher response rate than a postcard does. So if you notice that your postcard campaigns get a 0.25% or, God forbid, even lower response rate, then you would want to transition to a letter campaign, because the letter campaigns will ensure that you get a higher response rate. It's going to ensure that you get a greater ROI from your marketing spend with that direct mail channel. Now, my preference on mail pieces, I rotate mail pieces. So almost every month, I'm testing a different piece. And so I will test 5 different pieces. If I find a couple of really high performing ones, the next round of 5 pieces, I will keep 2 of them, maybe 3, and then I'm testing more pieces. So with direct mail, this is true direct response marketing. So you have to test. You've got to split test everything. So if I send a mail piece and it performs really well, now I'm going to say, all right, that mail piece was an orange color. I'm going to test a blue color next time around. Same mail piece, same copy, meaning the words on the mail piece are the same, but a different color. And I'm going to see if that affects the response rate at all. And then I will test the copy on it. I'll adjust the words that we put on the mail piece. And we're constantly testing the direct mail. So we'll send postcards, we'll send letters, and every month the recipient is receiving a different mail piece, so that they don't become numb to the same mail piece if we send the same mail piece every single month. I know a lot of companies out there, they send the same mail piece every month. And that's exactly what I used to do as well, until I started to see a strong dip, a strong decline in our direct mail performance. So since I have changed up and rotated my mail pieces every month, our direct mail performance has stayed at a consistent rate, and our response rates have maintained. We haven't seen big dips in our performance since we started rotating our mail pieces. So if you're doing direct mail, number one, get a really good list. Make sure that you're targeting niche data, meaning this data has a known distress point associated with it. Number two, your mail pieces is, I like to rotate mail pieces. I like to use letters some months. I like to use postcards some months. Letters are typically going to have a higher response rate. And, if you're in a market where your postcards have a low response rate, then I would opt for using letters within your direct mail campaigns. And with our direct mail, we are still seeing between a 4 to 5x return on investment, depending on the type of mail piece that we're sending. So it's still performing really well. It's on one of the most consistent, predictable marketing channels that I use, because I know if I send 10,000 mail pieces, I'm going to get deals. And so the kicker is, it costs a little bit. If you're sending 10,000 postcards, it's going to be about $4,800. If you're sending 10,000 letters, it's going to be about $8,500. So just keep that in mind whenever you're selecting your marketing channels. If you are operating with a little bit lower budget, using something like SMS and cold calling is going to be more beneficial in the beginning. Because if you use direct mail, you got to have a really strong conversion rate, got to have a really strong acquisition process, and you've got to be able to have a high marketing budget, because it's going to cost you money. You may have to do 2 rounds in order to get your first deal. So with that being said, guys, I want to open up any questions that you guys have before we wrap up here. So does anybody have any questions? Any questions that I can cover for you, answer for you about marketing, about which marketing channels to use? Saw one question here. Can you mention the time frame with each method? How long postcards take for a response? How do you know? How do you know where to check if they responded to the postcards? Yeah. So as far as, the postcards, so with our mail pieces, we set everything up inside CallRail. So we use CallRail for our phone system for some of the inbound marketing channels that we're using, particularly direct mail. And for every mail piece that we use, each mail piece has its own unique phone number that is attached to just that mail piece. So that way we can track, basically, like, we can track the results from each one of our mail pieces independently. So if I send an orange postcard this month and next month I send a blue postcard, I have a different phone number for the orange postcard and I have a different phone number for the blue postcard, so that I can track the results separately and independently. So our phone calls come into CallRail so we can see every phone call that comes in for each phone number that we have inside CallRail. So as far as time frame goes, we do our direct mail drops on a Friday. I do first class postage on all my direct mail campaigns. We mail on Friday, and that way, if I'm doing a first class mail drop, typically if I mail on Friday, we start receiving phone calls on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, our phones start ringing from the direct mail campaign. So I like to have the predictability, and I know that if I mail on Friday with first class, I know that by Tuesday, most of the time Wednesday, that's when the phone calls start coming in from our direct mail campaigns. Somebody asked, can I state the 3 top performing marketing channels again? So number 1 is direct mail. Number 2 is cold calling. Number 3 is SMS marketing. What are the names of the companies you use for cold calling and direct mail? So cold calling, I use Platinum VAs, platinumvas.com. And then with direct mail, I use Yellow Letter HQ, yellowletterhq.com. Any other questions, guys? Good questions so far. Any other questions that I can help you with on the marketing channels? Any questions that you guys have on marketing, or anything that we have covered about the top 3 marketing channels that have brought in the most deals for my company this year? So guys, if you are on this and you are wanting help setting up your own marketing campaigns, that is something that we specialize in at REI Game Changers. One of our specialties, I come from a marketing background. One of our specialties is helping people set up their own customized marketing campaigns, to where we look at your market, we evaluate your market, your situation, your budget, and then we help you piece together a customized marketing plan that's specific to your situation. And that's something that we do for all of our clients. So if that's something that you would like our help with, then comment Game Changers in the chat below, and one of my team members can reach out to you. If you want our help putting together a marketing plan that's specific and customized to your situation, so that you know exactly what you need to do in order to hit your goals, then comment Game Changers in the chat below, and one of my team members will reach out to you to talk about what it could look like, helping you put together a customized marketing plan. Whenever we put together a marketing plan, we like to reverse engineer everything. So if I'm planning out my marketing plan for the month or for the quarter, we reverse engineer everything. We reverse engineer everything down to each marketing channel that we're using. How many deals are we wanting to bring in each month or each quarter? And we reverse engineer exactly what we need to do with each marketing channel to produce the number of deals that we're trying to produce each month or each quarter. So we're not guessing for each marketing channel. We know with absolute certainty, if we execute this, we should see our desired result. And so that's how we take control of our company. That's how we can take control of the results that we experience inside of our business. And it all starts with marketing. So if that's something that you would like help with, if you want our help deploying a customized marketing plan into your business, helping you set up your business to where you have the ability to scale to $50,000, $100,000 plus per month, comment game changers in the chat below, and one of my team members will reach out to you. And with that being said, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you guys. Stay tuned. We should be live next week again. So we will see you guys next week. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you guys.